So guys, did you miss the boat on selling your house? This is the question we're getting from everybody. So we were just having a discussion about it and thought we would come on here and share. I personally am going to say no. I have a lot of people reaching out saying, crap, I missed the boat. I should have listed my house. Like, what do you think?
Right, I'm in agreement, right? At the end of the day, we still have an inventory shortage. We still have buyers in the marketplace looking for homes, but now it's just more balanced than it was. Things are back to what I would call more of a normal market.
I wouldn't even say it's still normal, though. We're still at an inventory. We're still low inventory, right? It's not like we're seeing a surplus of inventory. I think that the reality of it is that we were just in like a really crazy market for a while. Yeah. It was not, I guess it wasn't normal to list a house, have 20 offers in 48 hours. And it was just like, it was hard when you're representing buyers because buyers would come to us and they're looking at us for advice. And we're like, literally, I can't even tell you, you have to pay what you're comfortable paying on this home. How much over are you going to pay? And so that's not a fun place to be in when you're representing a buyer. And so it's just, I feel like it's a much more normal environment. The other thing too is from the sellers. We had a lot of sellers that were just terrified, right? They're like, I want to sell my house. I want to take advantage of this, but where do I go?
Right, where do I go? That's the number one question, right? So, I think now with some homes sitting on the market longer, a little more inventory on the market than we had a few months ago, I actually think we can maybe start writing some contingent offers, contingent upon the buyer selling their home, right? So now that person doesn't have the stress of, well, if my home sells, where am I going to go? Or do I have to move my family into a hotel or a short-term rental for some period of time? Now we can kind of start making offers and time things out where they have dual closings on the same day.
Right, we're not going to see so many post-occupancies, pre-occupancies, all these different things. And I think the other thing to take into consideration with that is that, now we're seeing FHA offers be accepted again, VA offers accepted again. It's opening up the playing field to everybody. That was really discouraging when you see these first-time home buyers who just wanted this dream of the American dream, and it wasn't even an option for them at that time.
And same thing with VA, right? I mean, the VA buyers, they've done well for our country. They've served our country. They've earned a VA loan. But VA loans hit the lowest point ever in the past year for being accepted. And it was just getting extremely hard, if not impossible, to get a VA loan accepted when you had so many cash or conventional offers with huge down payments coming in. So I'm super excited to start working with our VA buyers again. I know we met with one last night. Yeah. A guy just got back from overseas, him and his fiance, and they're excited. They're excited to buy their first home. They're excited to utilize the VA loan that he earned. And I'm excited for them that we can get them accepted again.
So then going back to did you miss the boat on cashing out? And not at all, guys. I think what you have to realize is that we're just not seeing crazy prices. Prices are still a historic high for us, right? It's not like we're seeing, prices go down. They're just not going crazy over. So when we have these nice, we still have great prices, and the prices have gone up significantly from where they were just a couple years ago. So you can still sell your home, but now you're not selling under such stressful conditions. Yeah. And then you have time to buy your new home. So I think that it's really a better time to sell your home now than it was just a few months ago.
It's definitely a more calm time, right? You're not feeling the pressure of having to hurry and go make an offer on a home without even seeing it, or make an offer on a home with no contingencies. I think that you can take your time again. You can go out, you can look at homes. Some homes you get to look at multiple times, which a few months ago there were many instances where you didn't even get to see the home, right? Unless you won the bid, you basically were just making blind offers, and that's pretty much gone now. So. And
the other thing too is that we have comps, right, for appraisal issues. We had so many people that were stressed, maybe you would win it, but then you were having these huge appraisal gaps, and we don't have that problem now because now there's all these comps to use. There's data to support these new prices. Right. So because I know that was another issue for sellers is we'd get them under contract at this crazy price, which was great, but then they're like, I'm too afraid to make a move on where I'm going until we get through this appraisal. Right. Appraisers got backed up, so sometimes those were taking forever. And so it was just this snowball of, I think, stressful events for sellers just a few months ago. So I'd say we had a lot of investors and stuff who decided to sell because it was a great opportunity for them. But for the average homeowner that wanted to sell their home and buy something else, I felt that a lot of them were like, whoa, like let's not, like this is too scary of a situation.
Right.
Now we're entering a market where it makes sense for that person to make that move.
Absolutely.
And I feel like there's also some inventory with builders again. Builders are offering incentives again.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's really wild.
Which is interesting though, because we forecasted this, right? What we saw is that a huge majority of buyers, they go build that brand new home, that dream home, and they do it at the max budget that they can because they want to get the biggest, best house that they can possibly afford. But the writing on the wall to us was as soon as interest rates start going up, all those people that have been under contract for 12 months, 18 months, however long it's taking to build this house, they're not going to qualify anymore.
Well, let me back it up because I don't think people understand that. So this is what I think the big gray area with that was. So when you go into new construction and you're doing a to-be built, you go in and you get pre-qualified, right? They're basing an estimate of what the current interest rate is, what you qualify for, and that's going to max your budget. So people say, I want to go all the way to, most people, I know myself included, we always want to get the best and the most for our money. So they go there. Well, then what happened was these builds got kind of behind. Instead of it being 6 or 7 months, sometimes it's 18 months now before these homes are ready to close. Right. You can't lock in that rate on new construction until, 60 days before? 90 days? Something around
typically 60.
It's typically 60. Well, guess what, guys? Rates went from like 3% up to 5-6%. Well, now all these people didn't qualify. Mm-hmm. So now we had a lot of new construction homes kind of come back on the market. Right. And so now that's opened up some more opportunities that way. So if you're thinking about like I wanted to sell and I want a new home or I wanted to do this, that is an option again. So I think it's actually, you didn't miss the boat at all. I think we're entering the perfect storm, the perfect time right now.
Yeah, this is a time where I think you can maybe even get a deal now, especially on the new builds that you couldn't get a few months ago because they weren't doing any incentives. They weren't paying any buyer's closing costs. They weren't offering any upgrades. But now we're seeing that come back because the builders have a lot of homes right now in various stages, some even finished, that they were planning on getting off their books. And now that buyer can't qualify anymore. So they're way more eager to make a deal to move that house because it was already on their books as a pending sale. And now it's back on as active inventory.
Absolutely, yeah. So I don't know. I think that it's still a great time. Yes, interest rates are up, but they're not crazy high. I mean, they're a little bit higher. I think that you have the home price, the home values are still high. So if you want to sell, you're still getting good money for your home, and there is an opportunity to negotiate on the other side. And I think something that was a big key thing for me to take into consideration was that the cost of money. And I was like, oh my gosh, interest rates, we get fixated on that. Well, I think you need to take into consideration that yes, you're paying a little bit higher interest rate, but where you can make it up is you're not paying 10 to 15% over market value on the home. There's different ways to make up that difference. And guys, if the rates go back down, refinance.
Right?
If they keep going up, you locked them in at today's date, right?
Right. And what's super interesting to me is how many people will maybe use the interest rate as a reason for them to not move forward on a home, but yet they'll go out and they'll buy a new car at the current interest rates, or they'll go out and they'll
max out their credit card
on these higher interest rates. So you're okay with paying for it on these depreciating assets that are going to return you nothing, but yet you have a mental block on paying a slightly higher rate than you could have got a year ago on an appreciating asset that you're going to live in, that's going to give you a much better return than whatever you just put on your credit card.
Right. So that's kind of our little thoughts on the market and what's going on. So no, you didn't miss the boat. Good news.
That's right.
So I don't know if you guys want some more information on this, if you just want to kind of run through some scenarios or talk about it a little bit more, y'all know how to get in touch with us. So give us a call and we'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.